A half-century ago, the late Ed Zern, a noted outdoors writer, founded what has become the Chevron Texaco Conservation Awards. The goal of this innovative program was to recognize the outstanding efforts of people and organizations to preserve and protect the world's environment. It was an idea ahead of its time, a conservation award sponsored by an environmentally aware energy company. Protecting our natural resources has been a Chevron Texaco priority since the company's inception in 1879. 125 years later, our values, business strategies, and field operations continue to reflect our adherence to the highest possible environmental standards, standards often exceeding legal requirements. Meeting the world's energy needs while preserving our environment for future generations has been and will always be the Chevron Texaco way. Tonight, in our 50th annual presentation, we honor and salute the noble and tireless work of our 2004 Chevron Texaco Conservation Award honorees. Their hard work and dedication towards creating a better environment is an inspiration to us all. Aquarium, laboratory, research institute, classroom. The Gulf Specimen Marine Laboratory in Panacea, Florida is all of these things and much more. The research, education, and marine protection endeavors of this unique nonprofit organization improve the quality of marine life and human life in a myriad of ways. Founded in 1963 by Anne and Jack Rudloe, the GSML cultivates hundreds of species of local marine life used in educational and research programs around the world. Each year, more than 16,000 students visit the GMSL to see, touch, learn, and marvel at the magnificent variety of sea life native to the Florida Gulf Coast. Since the 1970s, the GSML has been active in protecting coastal wetlands, sea turtles, marine resources, and public lands. The GSML has been a key source for human medicines derived from ocean life forms. Since 1968, the GMSL has supplied hundreds of marine specimens to researchers at the National Cancer Institute.
Well, for over 30 years now, we've been working with the National Cancer Institute. Back in 1968, I went on the Today Show with my first book, The Sea Brings Forth, and had a bunch of sea creatures there. The director of the National Cancer Institute happened to be watching that thing, said, gee, we want to start testing creatures out of the sea. And one of the first 10 items that we sent them turned out to be this Bugula narratina, the bryozoan, which has led to the discovery of bryostatin, which is now in its finished its clinical testing and has now been approved by FDA for certain types of cancers.
I think what Jack and Ann do is that they provide other people with an avenue to do their own research. You know, whether it's specimens or knowledge about the local environment, they're enablers in that they enable people such as scientists or educators to be able to do their jobs better.
GSML specimens have flown aboard the space shuttle to study the effects of weightlessness on marine animals. But for most visitors to the GSML, the laboratory is a special place to wonder at the sheer beauty and enormous diversity of life on Earth. For over 40 years, the Rudloes have been the driving force behind all the GSML's richly diverse programs. They've dedicated their careers to building a major conservation institute, nature writing, environmental activism, and conservation education and science.
As a biologist and as a scientist, I always see the world in terms of the magnificent sweep of geological and evolutionary time, of a universe that's 13 billion years old. I don't know what 13 billion years means, but it's a lot bigger than I am. I see life in terms of the entire sweep of the development of life on Earth from the Cambrian and the Precambrian up through today. And over all of that sweep of time, life has appeared and diversified into things that are just incredibly beautiful. The sight of a swallow-tailed kite against a blue sky, or the sight of a flower blooming, or the sight of a squid swimming through the ocean, it resonates in a way that you feel connectedness to it. So, as I said before, the idea that this should be allowed to disappear is a very sad thing, and I want to do whatever I can do to help with that. And just recently, I ran across a book by a Catholic monk named Thomas Berry called The Great Work. And Father Thomas Berry says that we all have some great work to do with our lives, and it's up to us to find out what that work is. And I started thinking about it in those terms. Well, what is my great work? And I realized I'm already doing it. It's just a matter of being aware of that. And that gives life meaning and a sense of wholeness. And I think that's what every human being needs to be happy, is a sense of significance in what they're doing and a sense that they're contributing in some way to a greater good of some sort.
I think if you save nature, you will be saving ourselves and our souls and our lives.